If you've ever walked into a room and instantly felt like you don't quite fit, even when no one said anything, even when nothing was obviously wrong, that feeling probably wasn't random. It shows up in small ways, like rereading a message 3 times before sending it, then still feeling like it sounded off, or laughing a little too late in a group conversation because you were busy analyzing how everyone else was reacting first, or sitting with people you know but still feeling slightly outside of the moment, like you're there, but not fully part of it. It doesn't look like a big deal from the outside, but internally, it feels like you're always adjusting, always observing, always trying to figure out where you stand. And most people who feel this way don't immediately think, I don't belong. They think something softer, more subtle, something like, I just need to be better at this. But that's not really what's happening because this pattern usually starts much earlier than you think. It begins with learning that belonging isn't automatic, that it has to be earned through behavior, through tone, through being acceptable. So you start paying attention very closely. You notice what people respond to, what gets approval, what gets ignored, and slowly, without realizing it, you begin adjusting yourself to match those patterns. Not because you're fake, but because you're trying to feel safe. That's not weakness, it's protection. But over time, something interesting happens. The more you adapt to fit in, the less certain you feel about who you are without that adaptation. So now, even in environments where you could belong naturally, you're still scanning, still editing yourself in real time, still holding back parts of your personality just in case they don't land the right way. And this is where imposter syndrome quietly starts to form, not just in work or achievement, but in identity. You begin to feel like any version of you that people accept isn't fully real, like you're being liked, but not actually seen. And because of that, the feeling of not belonging doesn't go away when people include you. It just changes shape. You can be surrounded by people and still feel like you're performing. You can be validated and still feel like it could disappear at any moment because deep down it doesn't feel stable. It feels conditional. And here's where it gets interesting. The real reason this happens isn't what most people think. It's not just low confidence. It's not just social anxiety. It's something more subtle. It's the relationship you have with your own identity. When your sense of self is built around adaptation, you become very good at fitting in different spaces, but you lose the feeling of having a fixed place anywhere because you're always slightly changing depending on where you are. And that creates a quiet kind of disconnection, not from people, but from yourself. So instead of thinking, I don't belong here, what's often happening underneath is, I don't know which version of me belongs here. That's the confusion, that's the tension, and it explains why the feeling follows you, even when the environment changes. New people, new opportunities, new spaces, but the same internal question: where do I actually fit if I'm always adjusting? And over time, this can turn into a habit of staying slightly on the edge, not fully expressing opinions, not fully relaxing into conversations, not fully letting yourself be known. Because there's always that quiet calculation running in the background. How will this be received? And again, that's not a flaw. That's a system that learned to prioritize emotional safety. But it comes at a cost because belonging doesn't just come from being accepted, it comes from feeling like you're not editing yourself to earn that acceptance. So when that editing becomes constant, belonging starts to feel out of reach, even when it's technically there. And the strange part is, people around you might not notice any of this. They might see you as calm, thoughtful, adaptable. They might even assume you're comfortable. because from the outside, everything looks fine. But internally, there's always a slight distance, a quiet sense that you're observing your life more than fully living inside it. And once you start seeing this pattern, it changes how you understand that feeling of not belonging. It stops being about the environment and starts becoming about the way your identity learned to operate within it. So it was never random. It was never just in your head. It was a pattern, a protective one, built slowly, reinforced over time, and still running quietly in the background, even now. And once you see it, you can't really unsee it. If this explains something you felt but couldn't name, there's more to uncover, because understanding yourself like this is where everything begins.